Hello everyone, it's Gilly Guide here. This is my presentation for the new official Wave Race 64 time trial ranking. I've been working on this for about a week now, and I really just wanted an accurate way to rank all of the players and make it easy for people to see how they can improve their rank. So I made a statistical rankings board. Here's the top 10 players overall. This ranking balances the achievements of the overall achievement of the times in time trial mode, and it also balances like puts weight on past world records and untied world records, but also who holds it. There's additional points in the system for who holds current records, and that's good to keep in mind when you look at the points difference from first to second. First place Shibipod has most of the number one world records, so he has a large amount more than most players. So we've got our overall list here. We've got 38 players in the total rankings. We've got our time achievement rankings, and we've got our world record, untied world record competition rankings. So the first thing to go over is how the time trial is scored. This is the list of times that if you get, you will get points for on our rankings. Anything lower than this, and you won't receive any points. So we've got forward 3-lap courses here. We've got 1-lap times, and then we've also got reverse times. Okay, so the reverse, how this is scored, these points, the reverse time with the most entrants to it receives 1 point, and then the second most receives 2, and this goes up until the very lowest amount that somebody's gotten on the course, and 6. And then for 1 lap, the time with the most entrants gets double the points for what reverse is. This is just to put a high weight on the competition that exists on our forward 3-lap and 1-lap times. And this process repeats itself in the 1 lap. So I've got 11, and then 8, 13, and then 6, 14, and then 4, 15, etc., etc. As these times become more common, the difference between the top and the bottom will adjust themselves. So once you're done with the 1 lap, you've gone through, and so 1 is the least here, so 18. You multiply 18 by 2, and you get 36. So you go to this, and you get 36. The first category that we'll pick on this one to do it, the first category is the one that has less than 30 people. If more people get any one of these records from 1 lap, reverse, or forward 3-lap, it's worth 0 points, and it no longer counts towards this ranking, like the scoring here. So I start with 24 because that's the least under 30 that I have, and then I work my way up all the way until 50, and that's if one person has it in time trial forward. In this way, when 2 people have had the same time, they'll both get 49 points. If one person has it, they'll get 50 points. If 3 people have it, they get 48 points, etc. This means that the more often people get the time, the less it's worth, which just shows exactly how much competition. This has some drawbacks, but I believe it's the best system for us to use. The biggest drawback being that people don't have spreads, and I'll show this right here. This is the actual points values that we get for each of the categories. As you can see, there's very few people with any reverse times. In the top 5 here, we've got Mo has not posted any reverse times. Analogism has not posted any reverse times that are worth points. And like Ryan Lockwood, Illudude has very little points in reverse, and then Hayate and Chibi both have lots of points in reverse, and that's one of the things that puts them over, like, say, an Illudude or a Mo. And like even myself, I have reverse times across the board, and I'm not getting points in every reverse time, so I'll need to submit some more times in that, and also in one lap as well, to complete my spread. And having a complete spread really shoots up your ranking quite a bit in this. So I think it encourages people to create a full sheet and to get a really varied skill set if they want to be ranked near the top of this list. So that's the time trial rankings. That's how we get this achievement ranking that's separate from the main ranking. Now for the untied world record and world record competition. So this is something that really, the accuracy really depends on how well world records were reported in the past. And honestly, pre-2013, there isn't really that good of evidence for what the world records were, so I'm just doing the best that I can. If you have a world record that you don't see factored in on this sheet, please contact me and I'll be sure to add it. I do want to have as accurate as possible in these, and I'm just doing what I can find for videos and some self-reported times as well, when it comes to like Jason Walls and David Wan, old school players. David Wan being the first player we have in 1 lap and then also 3 lap times. So you can see like Illudude has held Drake Lake and improved it since 2009. I think that's the currently longest held record by any one person that stands today. So we've got reverse times, some really odd names in here, and that really, those odd names, Marco Gomez, Derek Kidwell, these players ended up on the number, on the top 10 rankings for the untied world records and world records just because these people. For Jason Walls and Junio Hyota, because each of these categories is worth a different point value, or most of them are. We had to, the only way I could get it to do correctly is that if these first records that were technically untied world records, and having these count as world records helps with the accuracy of the ratings a little bit, so that Jason Walls and Junio Hyota are not unfairly represented here. So we've got like 26 historical forward world records for Shibipod, 19 one-lap world records, 15 untied reverse world records in his history. The reason why he has so many points is not only because of all of these historical times. You can see Illudude has pretty good numbers as well, other than in reverse. This is another reason. It's we uniquely put weight on who has current forward world records, one lap in reverse, and because of this, an extra 1,100 points is given to Shibipod because he holds almost all of the records other than these two. When we have a more varied world record holding, if we get some more challengers and there's more varied world record holdings, this allows for someone to replace Shibipod as the number 1 if they're really keen and have most of the current world records. Then they don't need to do so many historical world records. I think given this list, you'd need to do about have 2/3 of the first places on all of the categories, and then on top of that, you'd have to get another additional couple world records in front of that, before that. And then you'd also have to have a full timesheet with like the top times to within a 0.5 of a second. The reason that I have to 0.5 of a second is just to make it simple and to really push players to push their times past just an extra 0.2 or an extra 0.3, to really push for the seconds. And some of the reverse times are a little bit hard right now, or it seems like they're hard, but really there hasn't been that much competition in reverse. So this is really where you're going to get, as like a mid to low level player, this is where you're going to get a lot of points. As long as you have a full spreadsheet, you can get a lot of points in reverse right now. And that's going to be my official Wave Race 64 time trial ranking. I've got top 10s for the overall, top 10s for the time achievement, and top 10s for the world record achievement. If you have any suggestions for how this can be more accurate, or just want to question my process, give me some feedback, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you will take an attempt to get on this leaderboard. Thank you all for watching, and take care. I think I thanked you both twice. Yeah.